My name is Fred Dimson. I'm the sales manager for Windmill. Windmill is a Kofax Platinum partner. We do solutions end to end for clients. And today we have an opportunity to see what Maritime Ontario has done with the specific product called Kofax RPA, Robotics Process Automation, and how they've used it to do an end-to-end scenario with their back-end process called TruckMate. And with that, I would like to introduce the two people from Maritime Ontario, Adam Gray and Tyler Barnes.
Okay, thank you, Fred. As you mentioned, my name is Adam Gray. I'm here with Tyler Barnes. We are the resident subject matter experts on systems at Maritime Ontario, primarily responsible for the care of the Trimble TruckMate platform, where we spend most of our time working on. And I'll tell you a little bit about Maritime Ontario. So Maritime Ontario is comprised of 5 different divisions. Primarily, we have FreightWorks, which is our general freight LTL division, and we have Dedicated Works, our truckload division. Those two are both on the TruckMate platform, where we will spend most of our time discussing and working through. We have 10 terminals across the country that are owned and operated by Maritime Ontario, and we have 10 agent agreements that follow suit. We have been on TruckMate since 2014. We are also on the 2019.1 platform. Our user base is roughly 225, 250 users, depending on the day. We run all the typical TruckMate integrations of Connect-to-Dock, D2Link. We're partnered with Microdia. We're using Kofax in conjunction with Microdia. And I'm going to go on and tell you guys a little bit about the RPA process before we get started that we sort of initiated with. So our first case was our order entry piece from our largest customer. It's a case where we were being presented with a flat file each night of 700 to 900 orders that was taking us anywhere from 8 to 12 hours to process in through a macro-enabled spreadsheet into a file that the TruckMate freight bill import could accept, and then ingest into the order pre-processor screen, where they would then go line by line and do all the profiling required for each shipment and all the special exceptions and all the nodes, and then finally validate that and push it into TruckMate. So we took that as our initial use case when we started working in RPA. We linked up with Yakadu and we decided to take that on as our first one. It's been a great success, and we want to show you guys a little bit about how we made that work with the use of 2 bots. Okay, so in this sort of little swim lane diagram here, we have our process I just described here. So right now, we still have the users receiving a flat file email from our customer at nighttime. But now their only responsibility is to take the flat file and drop it into a network share folder. And from that point, we have our first bot take over, and it goes through and it validates the information that's in the flat file. It would take the flat file and do a little bit of additional work here that we were not able to do before, where it will do a direct lookup into our database on each of the shipments and all of their address strings, so that we can try to find the correct profiles that we could then use in the order pre-processor portion. It will go line by line, find all the codes for us. It will take all the hours, appointments, trace numbers, any kind of special events, and set that up with more detail in the file that we will then be passing on to order pre-processor. So when that's complete, it generates the final file for the preprocessor, and it drops that into the network folder that the preprocessor is monitoring, and then that gets ingested into the preprocessor screen. When that's complete, it will notify the user that these are how many shipments have been sort of transformed, and it will pass off the process to our second bot. Our second bot is comprised of desktop automation. It will go ahead and log into the preprocessor for us under a service account. It will then using a special filter, go through and look at each of the lines that are in that filter, accept the order, assuming there is the correct criteria, push it into our system, and then process until there are no more shipments available on the screen, in which case it will log out and send an email notifying, again, the user base that the preprocessor process is complete. These are how many orders were pushed into TruckMate. These were how many that were rejected. And from there, there's an audit role with the user base. But you can see here that the user is not very involved in the process. They basically initiate it, and then they audit the results of it. And if they need to, they can interact. But for the most part, it's hands off. And what was a previous 8 to 12 hour process has been dropped down to roughly a 2-hour process. And with that, I think we have a bit of a demo here to show you how that works, and I'll pass it over to Tyler Barnes to explain how that works.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. So I'm just going to show a quick demo about what our users would deal with every night. We'll start here on our caplet zone. This is where we can outline our different bots or different processes that we want our users to run. In our case, we have 3. We have the LAFU upload. This is for our nightly upload that comes in. The FU is our sites that we're using, site F and site U. And then we have our HBill upload, which is our during the day process. They get 1 to 2, sometimes 3 files, depending on how busy the season is, that are to be uploaded for brought to dock freight at that time. Our last one is our order preprocessor bot, which is the second bot Adam was just talking about, the LAFU bot being the first one. Here we have it set up so that our users go in and manually start these bots on their own. At one point, we're running based off a schedule, but we found having schedules led to more human error and the allowance of duplication, because the schedule would just have the bot check the folders every 10 minutes. And it allowed for duplication when the users weren't exactly paying attention or they were distracted by something else. The multiple files could be uploaded without them noticing, and switching over to this manual method reduced that factor extremely. So we'll move on from the cap zone to the actual network folders that Adam mentioned. So we have 4 network folders, 3 of them for the actual upload: Brampton, Galway, and Montreal. Today we're going to be using a test file in the Brampton folder. I believe it's about 100 orders that we're going to be uploading into our system via the bots. The first Brampton file here, I'll open it up and I'll show you. So here we can see it's full of information. So shipment IDs, load locations, consignees, appointments, appointment windows. So here you can see an appointment window. This is a recent addition to our upload files. This allows our customer to set a actual window for appointment pickup. And instead of just a static 9 to 9 or 10 to 10, they can have a window set as before it was very static. Here in column Z, we have our temperature range. Through a external developed program by Yakadu, this information is sent off and broken down based off of, because it's computer generated, it always has a temperature status of some type. Here it's dry, equals, and then a temperature range. It's always the same, so we break it down based off of the equals through string recognition and determine our service level based off of the temperature status they send, and then the temperature range gets set via the temperature range on the right side of the equal sign. Here I'm showing the open times and close times. This is in junction to the pickup windows. If a pickup time is not set, we automatically determine our pickup window based off the open and close times. This is all done through the external program that Yakadu was able to develop for us. So from here, we'll move back to the cap zone, where we'll go into our first bot, the LAFU upload bot. And as you can see here, you get a result history on the right side of the last time your bot ran, and if it ran without error or if it ran fine. So here you can see it's in progress. Through here, it'll determine all of our format that we want for the truckmate upload or import process. So now it's done. From here, we wait about a minute or two, as that's how often our import checks the network folders to see if there's a file available to import into TruckMate. We are going to flip over to order preprocessor now to check if our file has been uploaded. So here we're opening up order preprocessor. I'm going to the specially designed filter that Adam mentioned earlier to check if everything's been uploaded. And as we can see, it's been uploaded. We have emails set up with the importer to actually email us if there's been an error. So we can easily see if a order was rejected or not. We have a second filter set up to capture those errors so that our team can still go in and manually fix those exceptions and accept them into the system. Any orders that end up in this filter are automatically posted, and when the bot gets to it, it will validate that it was posted correctly, the shipper and consignee information, and I'll get more into that once the once we are watching the bot do it, the second bot do its thing. So from here, you can see the quick filter that we have. It's simply just looking by our bill to code, the site ID, and that the bill number is not NA, which is what you get when a order hasn't been properly posted. We have a total of 104 orders, so we know all of them have been properly updated, or sorry, imported into the order preprocessor system. So here we'll flip back to the order preprocessor bot now, which will go in because we know all of our orders have been uploaded properly. We'll wait for the page to load. Once it's loaded, and on the right side, we'll see the result history, just like we did on the last one. Sometimes it takes a second. There it is. So from here, we'll just go and we'll start the caplet. We'll log into the bot's actual processing system. This is where the bot will RDP into a virtual machine that we've set up for it, and we'll process all of the orders. Now, it's going very quickly here. One of the key benefits of the bot doing this for us. What it's doing is it's going line by line and using OCR, checking that the shipper information is there, the pickup information for the appointments are there, the consignee information is there, the bill has been posted under the temp bill number column, like I mentioned earlier, and its service level has been chosen correctly. Once all that is confirmed, it updates, or sorry, it accepts the order and then updates the line, taking the line off the screen. This is more beneficial for us, as going line by line in case of duplication, we're easily able to stop the bot's process and stop it from accepting any duplicates if it had occurred, because it usually will push the duplicates to the bottom of the list through the way we've seen in common stance duplications happen. If we catch it early enough and we can stop the bot, we are still able to cancel the duplications, reject them all, and then continue with the bot to accept the actual orders that we meant to. There is the possibility of just having your bot right-click and accept all, but we wouldn't be able to do the validation on the shipper, the consignee, the pickup information, all that kind of stuff, which is what we're looking to get out of this bot's process here. So other than that, the bot will just keep doing its thing until it hits the end, and once it's finished accepting all 100, it will fire off an email to our billing staff, which runs this for us at night, letting us know how many orders have been accepted, if it had to reject any, and our billing staff will do a quick audit via Crystal reports that we've set up, and they'll check order preprocessor to make sure it's actually empty, and then continue on with their night. As Adam said, this went from being about a 8 to 13 hour job every night to being about a total 2-hour job with the bot and about a half an hour of human interaction. So that's all I have. I'm going to pass it back to Adam now, as he has a bit more information about the bots for you. Adam?
Hey, thank you, Tyler. So everyone's favorite portion is what are we gaining from using RPA? As looking back on the project now, we can tell you safely that our ROI was about 6 months. The result of this project, we were able to remove a data entry position, or at least a full-time data entry position. And the extra hours that were required every day has been moved into more of an audit and validation role. So one of the emphasis that we have at Maritime is try to remove data entry as much as possible and spin the roles into data validation, data auditing, data analysis, if we can, if there's an opportunity to. And that was sort of why we had done the RPA path. Other benefits that we gained through the RPA process, it's been a lot easier for us to train new staff. So our billing department, like most, is a fairly transient department. We've had some turnover in the past, and with our previous process, training a new user to take the original file and go through the macro-enabled spreadsheet, and then put it to a pre-processor, then go through each order and pick the right shippers, consignees, service levels, exceptions. It was rather labor intensive, and it was very difficult to train or retain, and then we were constantly in a training cycle of new users with new training. So with the bot, now we're really just training somebody on 1 or 2 steps, and it was very easy for us to do that and put together documentation to support that. And it's really helped out that department's managers. I've been very thankful. It's been great in that regard. It also reduces the risk that we face when you have a new person or a new trainee working with your largest customer, generating 700, 900 orders a night. If they get that wrong, we're in jeopardy the next morning of missing a significant amount of pickups. So with this in place, we all sleep a little bit easier knowing that it's going to be handled the same way each time. And that kind of consistency has resulted in a better driver pickup experience, actually. So one thing that stemmed from this is less errors through the upload, which means the drivers are getting better data and they're getting better relationships with their shippers because they're not there looking for the wrong POs, or they're not getting in late or with the wrong equipment. And that's really helped us out in that regard. It's also helped us establish firm communication protocols with their customers. So in the past, we would have scenarios where the customer would make changes to the upload without letting us know or forecasting it, and we would run into issues that night because we were not ready to accept those kind of changes. And that was always kind of standard and accepted as being okay, and then we would scramble as an IT team to fix the upload or change the macro-enabled spreadsheet or do whatever it is we need to do to make it work. And again, that kind of change without warning or whatever did result in errors and failures. So when this came around, that was no longer acceptable, as you cannot just quickly change the bot to accommodate a new spreadsheet that night. So we went back to the customer, presented our case, and showed them why we're no longer able to do that and why we definitely needed warning and forecasting. And we settled on a few columns of what we needed and how we wanted to see it. They agreed to work with us, and the result in the end has been better for both parties. So they understand, they appreciate what we're trying to accomplish, and they've seen the results that when we do this, it's been a lot easier. So and the bot just continues to get better for us. At the very beginning, we may have been about 90% accurate on picking the profiles based on addresses. But with the validation team now looking at it a little bit differently and saying, okay, we had 10% errors last night. Let's look at the addresses and the ones that actually came through. They go into TruckMate, fix the profiles. The next time around, the bot picks the right profile. So over time, we're probably seeing somewhere in around 98% accuracy on picking the profile. And that's, that's been a big win for us. Other benefits from the bot is clearly the scalability of the bot. So we are able to take more orders if required without changing our personnel involved. That's a key one for us. Like I said before, 8 to 12 hours. So you may be able to do this with one person, or if we had a big night or end of the month or something, a lot of orders, we were often either going into overtime or having to bring in another resource to help finish off the upload for that night. With this, it's not really a concern. If the bot runs an extra half an hour, nobody's going to lose any sleep or money over that. And everyone's favorite part too is it works, every day and every night and every weekend and every holiday. So if required for a process, it's there, it works, it doesn't cost us anything else, and it's consistent. So that's been great. Other benefits, it's forced us to review our internal processes quite a bit. We have further ideas, of course, for more RPA projects, and it's really what we've learned from the first one is how to attack the project. So what it is that we require to work with like a Yakadu, and what kind of information they need in order to make the project successful that the first time around we didn't quite understand. So we had a few more hours and learning that and configuring that and going through it. But now we know when we take on the next project, how to get all of our ducks in a row to make sure that it goes smoothly and as quickly as possible. And overall, there's been a very positive culture spin at Maritime as a result of the RPA project. With TruckMate, there's usually an increased headcount, which every owner seems to balk at. It's an unfortunate result of implementing TruckMate where you want more data, it usually takes more people. There's a lot of value to that data, but again, there was a headcount increase at the time. So I'm sure a lot of people have experienced that, and that comes with a lot of negativity. However, tools like this are enabling us to start removing some of the headcount and administrative burden while keeping the same system in place, and it's kind of a win-win there. So that's been great for us, and it's finally shone some positive light on sort of the IT department and the TruckMate implementation. So I'm just going to lead us up for a second here. This is a slide from our recent leadership meeting here where we were being addressed by our president about the upcoming headwinds and our own sort of internal strategy and how we're going to handle it. This is what he left up there at the time. I think it's applicable for the RPA. RPA is definitely one of the tools that we believe will help us out through technology to kind of deal with any kind of hardship from economic times or anything like that. This is something that we can use to control and manage the business a lot easier, and that's one of our main strategies. So we're gonna go ahead with that.
Okay, thank you, Adam and Tyler. We appreciate the time that you spent to review your particular RPA process. For more information, visit us at our website at windmill.services.